Hi, I'm Wal Galbraith. I'm a part of the Ray White South Coast Group, and this is your South Coast Snapshot for week 47, 2022. The snapshot is designed to give you a bite-sized breakdown of the real estate market overall, including local, regional and city-based information across Australia. All information is sourced from the AFR, leading economists on Twitter, and the Sydney Morning Herald. All information is relevant to buyers, property owners or both. Australia's official interest rate will rise 5 more times to 4.1% over the next 6 months, says Goldman Sachs chief economist Andrew Boak, but then drop sharply over 2024 as the economy slows. Mr. Boak, who was just one of the 3 economists to pick the Reserve Bank of Australia's aggressive pivot to half percentage point rate increases in June, said it was likely the RBA drag out rate rises well into 2023. With a review looming over the bank and set to report in March 2023, he said policymakers would be in an uncomfortable position of standing still early next year while inflation is still very high. More than 100,000 people drove the cost of pandemic-era home builder program out to $2.3 billion, an analysis of the scheme has found, leading to an overheating of the building sector and adding to inflation pressures that have forced interest rates to a 9-year high. Economists said the former coalition government was right to try to inject stimulus to avoid a collapse of the home construction industry at the peak of COVID-19. But it became a victim of its own success, with more than 3 times the number of people applying for the program than the original estimates. The Department of Treasury originally forecast there would be 27,000 approved home builder grants at a cost of about $678 million. But a review of the program conducted by KMPG with Treasury found by the end of June 22, after the program had been extended twice, 100,214 grants were approved at a total cost of $2.3 billion. The Reserve Bank is unusual among the world's central banks as its board oversees both the day-to-day operation of the institution as well as setting monetary policy. Boak said the board, of which 6 of its 9 members are appointed by the Treasurer of the day, should continue to oversee the bank, but a separate monetary policy committee of experts should set the interest rates. Boak also has called for the Reserve Bank to make macro-prudential powers back from the Australian Prudential Regulation Authority, APRA, so it can target issues such as soaring house prices without having to resort to interest rate rises. This would bring it into line with central banks such as those in New Zealand, England and Canada. National Australia Bank CEO Ross McEwen says major banks are cutting each other's throats in an intensifying battle to write more housing loans in a plunging property market, which will force NAB to direct more of its excess capital to business lending over the next 2 years. Delving into concerns that Australia's major banks have put too many eggs in the mortgage basket, Mr. McEwen said that he was cooling on growing housing lending as rival banks such as Westpac and ANZ aggressively chase new customers with discounts as house prices fall. Luxury home prices are falling in Sydney, Brisbane and the Gold Coast alongside Perth, and rising modestly only in Melbourne, research shows. Buyers at this level are less affected by interest rate moves, but cautious about the uncertain economy. The chill is a reversal from last spring's property boom. Sydney prime property prices have fallen by 1.9% in the September quarter, the Knight Frank Prime Global Cities Index found. Brisbane fell by 2.4%, the Gold Coast lost 1.6% and Perth slipped by 0.4%. Melbourne prices edged higher by a modest 0.7%. Rising interest rates have pushed property prices lower in the broader market and reduced how much money home buyers can borrow. But top-end properties are less affected because many wealthy buyers have had success in business lately and can purchase a home without a mortgage. In the global ranking, however, Dubai took top spot after it recorded 88.8% growth in 12 months, followed by Miami at 30.8% and Tokyo at 17%. First homeowners who buy property this weekend could choose to pay a land tax rather than stamp duty after New South Wales Premier Dominic Perrottet's long-touted property reforms passed Parliament. While Perote's new property tax scheme will not be fully operational until January 16, any first homeowners who buy property this weekend will be able to seek a refund on their stamp duty before switching to the annual tax. The historic new laws will allow a first home buyer to opt into a land tax for properties under 1.5 million and would pay an annual levy of $400 plus a 0.3% tax on the value of their land. Property tax rates will be indexed so that the average annual property tax payment grows at the same rate as gross state product, GSP, per capita. However, to avoid bill shock, annual increases will be capped at 4%. Property values in a swath of Sydney postcodes have already pulled back to pre-pandemic levels, new data shows. House values in almost 24 suburbs, many in the inner west, have erased their pandemic gains, although units across Sydney have borne the brunt of these falls. Buyers looking in these areas may begin to find better opportunities, although it will be a tougher time for sellers and refinancers who bought in these locations 2 years ago on thin deposits, the experts say. Darlinghurst, home values pulled back the most, falling 13.7% below March 2020 levels to a median of 1.9 million by October 2022, CoreLogic figures reveal. It was followed by houses in a range of postcodes in the inner suburbs and inner west, including Surrey Hills down 12.8% to 1.78 million, Forest Lodge down 9.7% to 1.889 million, and Redfern down 9.7% to 1.622 million. Alexandria, Newtown, Camperdown and Erskineville fell more than 8% each. Looking locally, we're seeing a solid amount of traffic through our open homes, with deals coming together without friction. Most buyers we're working with are very aware of their financial position and are more aware that the market is inside of their favour. We're gearing up for our Ray White South Coast January auction event. 50 properties, one day, January 2023. A perfect time to make use of the summer market and capture those buyers under one umbrella. Want to know more? Reply to this email or give me a call. Looking to make the best use of the current market? If you're either expanding your property portfolio or looking to sell your current property, get in touch today. We'd love to help. I'm Wal Galbraith with the Ray White South Coast Group, and that was your South Coast Snapshot for week 47, 2022. I'll catch you next week. Be well.